Midnight. Confirmation $2,000 rebate checks approved. Tonight's update is one of the most important announcements we've received in months, especially for seniors living on fixed incomes. At exactly 2 o'clock this morning, the White House confirmed that President Trump has officially approved the new $2,000 tariff rebate checks, and a major change was quietly added just hours before the announcement. For the first time, low-income seniors have been moved into a special priority category, giving them early access to the review and payment system. This change wasn't expected. In fact, most people watching the news today still have no idea it even happened. But the update is real, it is active, and it directly affects millions of Americans who rely on Social Security SSI or SSDI as their primary source of income. For days, rumors spread across social media and news channels, but tonight the confirmation finally came through. The Treasury has issued a revised internal notice, and that notice moves a brand new group of seniors to the very top of the eligibility list. Up until now, the rebate checks were mainly focused on middle-income workers and families impacted by rising prices caused by tariffs on imported goods. Seniors were mentioned, but they were never officially prioritized. That all changed tonight. The new Treasury language states clearly that households with limited or fixed income should not be left behind. That single sentence triggered the entire restructuring. If you are a senior living on a fixed income, if your Social Security benefit is your only reliable monthly check, or if you have struggled to keep up with rising costs for food, rent, utilities, or medication, this update is designed specifically to help you. Your eligibility score under the new system has increased significantly, and your application, whether you file taxes or not, can now be verified faster than most working households. This is only the beginning of the changes we're going to break down. In the next section, we'll explain why the White House fast-tracked this update, what information triggered the overnight shift, and what it means for the next round of approvals. Why seniors were suddenly added to the priority list. What happened behind the scenes over the past several days explains why tonight's update arrived so suddenly and why seniors became the center of attention. For weeks, the tariff rebate program was being restructured quietly, with most public announcements focusing only on the headline, $2,000 checks approved. But behind closed doors, economic advisors were preparing new data that revealed a much more urgent situation, one that directly involved older Americans. A series of economic reports delivered to President Trump over the last 2 weeks showed a sharp rise in financial hardship among seniors. The numbers were striking. Many older Americans receiving less than $1,300 a month from Social Security were experiencing some of the highest levels of inflation-related stress in the entire population. These reports highlighted increases in rent, utilities, prescription medications, and grocery prices, expenses seniors simply cannot reduce. Unlike workers, older adults do not have the option to increase their income. Their monthly benefit stays the same even while living costs climb. According to advisors who assisted in the review, this was the exact moment when the tone inside the White House shifted. The president's concern was straightforward. If tariff revenue is being returned to American households, then the people with the least buying power should not be last in line. That reasoning triggered the emergency fast-track review and led Treasury officials to reevaluate how the program identifies high-impact households. It became clear that seniors were consistently scoring at the top of every financial vulnerability index: fixed income, limited mobility, increased medical expenses, and reduced purchasing power. This data-driven approach, not politics, not public pressure, is what pushed seniors into the priority category. And the most important part is this: the program is now structured so that seniors will not only qualify, but they will qualify early. Their records already exist in SSA and IRS systems, meaning eligibility can be confirmed with minimal delays, without complicated forms or new paperwork. In the next section, we'll break down how the new scoring system works and why seniors are now rising to the top of the eligibility queue faster than most working households. How the new eligibility scoring system boosts seniors. Now that seniors have been moved into the priority lane, it's important to understand how that decision was made and why the new scoring system created such a dramatic shift. The Treasury didn't simply add seniors to a list. They redesigned the entire eligibility framework using a data-driven scoring model that identifies which households are most financially vulnerable, and therefore which ones should be reviewed first. Under this system, every household is evaluated across several key factors. The first factor is income level. Individuals living on less than $30,000 per year receive one of the highest vulnerability scores. This category includes millions of seniors whose monthly Social Security checks fall below the national median. The second factor is dependency on government benefits such as Social Security, SSI, or SSDI. Seniors who rely entirely on these programs score extremely high because their income remains constant regardless of inflation. Another important factor is something Treasury calls the Benefit Stability Index. This measurement evaluates how predictable a person's income is, meaning how likely it is to stay the same even when prices go up. Seniors living on fixed benefits rank at the very top of this category. Their income does not increase with inflation, which makes every rise in rent, food, or medical costs far more damaging than it would be for working households with flexible earnings. The scoring system also considers purchasing power, which looks at how much disposable income someone has after covering essential expenses. Seniors receiving lower Social Security payments often have the smallest financial cushion, placing them in the high-impact group. When all these factors are combined, low income, fixed benefits, high medical expenses, and reduced purchasing power, seniors automatically rise to the top of the priority scale. This is why millions of older Americans were moved into Tier 1, the fastest approval category, even ahead of many working families. And there's more good news. Because seniors already have verified data within Social Security and IRS systems, the Treasury can confirm their eligibility automatically, reducing delays and allowing payments to move through the system much faster. In the next section, we'll break down the new three-tier payment structure and explain exactly where seniors now stand in that lineup. Understanding the new three-tier payment structure. Now that the scoring system has been updated, the Treasury has reorganized the entire rebate program into a new three-tier payment structure. This redesign determines who gets reviewed first, who gets approved first, and ultimately, who receives their $2,000 rebate checks the fastest. And for seniors, this new structure is especially important because it places many of them in the highest priority group. Let's start with Tier 1, which now includes two major groups. Originally, Tier 1 was meant only for middle-income workers earning between $30,000 and $75,000 a year. But with the revised scoring model, a brand new group was added. Low-income seniors, especially those receiving below-median Social Security benefits or less than $30,000 annually. Because seniors score high on income stability and financial vulnerability, they now sit at the very front of the review line. This means their approvals can be finished before millions of working households even start the verification process. Next is Tier 2, covering individuals and families earning roughly between $40,000 and $90,000 a year. Many people expected this group to receive payments early, but tonight's update shifted that expectation. Because seniors moved upward into Tier 1, a portion of Tier 2 may now be pushed to a later payment window. This change has caused confusion online, but the explanation is simple. The system is being balanced to help the most financially vulnerable first. Finally, Tier 3 includes higher income households and individuals whose data requires extra verification, perhaps due to outdated tax filings, missing information, or unusual income patterns. Seniors are not placed in this group. In fact, almost all seniors fall into either Tier 1 or Tier 2 depending on their income level, which shows just how significant tonight's update truly is. This tiered system isn't just administrative paperwork, it determines real-world timing, who gets approved, when the approvals go out, and how quickly the IRS can release each payment batch. And because seniors already have their benefit records inside SSA and IRS systems, the verification steps for them are far simpler and faster. In the next section, we'll talk about specific income thresholds, including the exact groups of seniors who now qualify for the fastest review and early payment status. Key income thresholds and which seniors qualify. First, now that the three-tier system has been established, the next question is the one most seniors want answered. Who exactly qualifies for early approval, and what income levels place someone at the top of the priority list? Tonight's internal Treasury update offers some of the clearest guidance we've seen so far, and it highlights several groups of seniors who now stand to receive their approvals earlier than expected. The first and most important threshold is annual income below $30,000. Seniors who fall into this category, especially those relying solely on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or survivor benefits, score extremely high under the updated eligibility model. This score places them directly into Tier 1, meaning their applications can be verified using existing government records almost instantly. Another critical number to pay attention to is $1,300 per month. Seniors receiving less than this amount from Social Security are now considered high-priority beneficiaries. These individuals were heavily affected by recent inflation data, which showed that rising prices for food, rent, medical supplies, and transportation had the most severe impact on people living on the lowest fixed incomes. As a result, this group now receives automatic elevation in the scoring system. But tonight's update included one more surprise. The Treasury quietly added a new category of seniors earning less than $2,100 per month. This group was not part of the original rebate outline and was not mentioned during the public announcement. However, after reviewing new economic hardship data, the Treasury determined that these seniors experience significant financial strain and should also be placed in an early processing tier. This shift means millions more seniors may now be eligible for rapid approval. For seniors living solely on federal benefits with no other income sources, the news gets even better. These individuals are now classified as direct impact beneficiaries. Because their information already exists inside federal databases, the verification process is far faster than it is for working households. No employment checks, no secondary income reviews, and no complicated forms are required. In the next section, we'll explain why most seniors will not need to apply and how automatic verification through SSA and IRS systems will streamline the entire approval process. Why most seniors do not need to apply for the $2,000 rebate. One of the biggest questions circulating online is whether seniors need to apply for the $2,000 rebate check. And tonight's update provides a clear, reassuring answer. Most seniors will not need to submit any application at all. The process has been designed to run automatically using information already stored within federal systems. Here's how it works. The Treasury and the IRS are using existing Social Security Administration records to verify eligibility for older Americans. That means if you currently receive Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or survivor benefits, your income history, benefit amount, and account information are already available within government databases. These records allow the system to confirm your eligibility without requiring new forms, supporting documents, or tax filings. Even seniors who filed zero income tax returns over the past 2 years are now included in this automatic review process. In the past, zero income returns could cause delays because the IRS needed additional verification to confirm someone's income level. But not anymore. Under tonight's updated instructions, the Treasury will now use SSA data to bypass those verification bottlenecks, placing seniors on a much faster review path. Only a small number of people, mostly those with outdated records, missing direct deposit information, or mismatched addresses, may receive a request for verification. These notices are not denials. They are simply part of the process to ensure the payment reaches the correct account. Seniors who keep their SSA and IRS accounts updated will move through the system much more quickly. There is also another significant improvement in the updated memo. Seniors who rely solely on federal benefits without any additional income from work or pensions are now classified as fast verify households. This means their eligibility can be confirmed in seconds, not weeks, because the IRS doesn't need to search for outside income sources. This streamlined approach is one of the biggest advantages seniors have in the new tier structure. While millions of working households will need manual reviews or updated tax checks, most seniors will glide through the system automatically. In the next section, we'll talk about payment timing and explain why seniors may receive approval notices before many working families even enter the review queue. When seniors could receive approval notices and payment updates. Now that we understand how eligibility is verified, the next question becomes the one every senior is waiting for. When will the approval notices and payments begin? While the Treasury has not released the exact payout dates, tonight's update gives us valuable insight into how the timeline will unfold and why seniors are positioned to move through the system faster than millions of working households. Because seniors have now been placed into Tier 1, their information will be reviewed first as the system begins processing the new rebate structure. Treasury officials are currently mapping out distribution groups, and internal reports suggest that seniors may receive eligibility updates earlier than originally projected. This is especially true for individuals receiving Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, whose income records are already fully documented. Here's what this means in practical terms. Before any payments are released, 3 major federal systems must communicate with each other. First, Treasury finalizes the routing list. determining which households go through review first. Next, the IRS begins verifying identity and tax-related data. Finally, the Social Security Administration confirms that benefit records and direct deposit information are accurate and up to date. Because seniors' information already exists within both Social Security Administration and Internal Revenue Service systems, the processing steps for them are significantly faster. Working households, on the other hand, often require additional review for employment income, tax filings, or verification requests, which slows their approval timeline. Internal projections show that seniors could see portal alerts, status changes, or identity confirmation requests even before many working families are entered into the system. These notifications may appear in SSA accounts or IRS online portals. Seniors are strongly encouraged to respond quickly to any request for updated information, as doing so can prevent delays and keep them in the highest priority lane. It is also important to understand that being in Tier 1 does not guarantee the first payment date, but it does guarantee the earliest review and approval window, which is the most critical step in the rollout. Next, we'll cover a concern many seniors have: whether receiving this rebate check will affect their Social Security benefits or other federal payments. Will the $2,000 rebate affect your Social Security benefits? As seniors hear more about the $2,000 rebate checks, one concern continues to come up again and again. Will this payment reduce or interfere with my Social Security benefits? Tonight's update provides a clear and reassuring answer: absolutely not. The $2,000 tariff rebate is classified as a non-taxable, non-income supplemental payment. That means it does not count as earned income, unearned income, or reportable income for Social Security purposes. Whether you receive retirement benefits, SSI, SSDI, or survivor benefits, this rebate will not reduce your monthly checks, will not change your benefit amount, and will not affect future cost of living adjustments. This program is designed as relief, not as a replacement for existing benefits. The goal is to help Americans, especially seniors, manage rising prices without jeopardizing the limited income they already rely on. Treasury officials emphasize that seniors should not fear losing eligibility for current benefits simply because they receive this rebate. It's also important to understand that, unlike stimulus checks from past years, this rebate is funded directly from tariff revenue, not from general federal spending. This distinction is why the program does not require Congress to pass new legislation. The funds are already authorized under existing collection laws, and the Treasury has the authority to distribute them as soon as eligibility reviews are complete. Some seniors worry that receiving the rebate might cause issues for Medicaid, SNAP, or housing assistance. However, early guidance indicates that these payments are expected to be treated like prior non-countable pandemic relief funds, meaning they should not impact eligibility for most needs-based programs. Additional clarification is expected, but the intention is clear: no senior should lose support because they received this rebate. Another common concern is whether repayment will ever be required. Treasury documents state that this is a one-time rebate, not a loan, not an advance, and not a credit that must be repaid. Once issued, the money belongs entirely to the recipient. In the next section, we'll address one final major worry: whether political debates, congressional disagreements, or policy challenges could slow down or block these payments from going out. Will politics delay the payments? What seniors need to know. With every major financial update, especially one involving relief for seniors, many people naturally worry that political disagreements or congressional debates might slow down or block the $2,000 rebate checks. But tonight's clarification offers strong reassurance. This program does not require new approval from Congress, and therefore it cannot be stalled by political gridlock in the way traditional stimulus bills often are. Here's why. The tariff rebate program is funded entirely by tariff revenue, which is money the federal government has already collected from taxes on imported goods. Because these funds are already authorized under existing federal law, the Treasury has the legal authority to distribute rebates once the eligibility structure is finalized. That structure, according to tonight's update, is now complete. This means political arguments may continue on television, social media, and in Congress. But they do not stop the rebate process. The payments are not tied to a new bill, a budget negotiation, or a special vote. They are tied to your income data and benefit records, not legislative approval. The only steps remaining involve administrative processing. Treasury must finalize routing, IRS must verify identity and tax records, and the Social Security Administration must confirm benefit accounts for direct deposit. None of these steps can be interfered with by political disagreements. However, timing can still be affected by one thing: outdated or incomplete personal information. Seniors with mismatched addresses, old bank accounts, or missing tax records may experience preventable delays. This is why tonight's update strongly encourages seniors to check both their SSA and IRS portals over the coming days and weeks. You may receive alerts asking you to confirm a mailing address, verify your direct deposit details, or approve an identity check. These requests do not mean there is a problem. They are simply part of the process to ensure your payment reaches the correct account safely and without interruption. In the next and final section, we'll speak directly to seniors about what steps you should take right now and why this update represents meaningful relief during a time when many older Americans are struggling to get by. Final guidance for seniors: what to do next and why this update matters. As we close out this update, I want to speak directly to every senior who has been watching closely, hoping for some kind of relief during these challenging times. Over the past few years, you've faced rising grocery prices, higher medical costs, increased rent, and energy bills that seem to grow every month, even though your income stays exactly the same. Tonight's announcement may not solve every problem, but it represents a meaningful step forward, and it recognizes something that has been overlooked for far too long. Seniors deserve to be protected, not pushed to the back of the line. With the new priority system now in place, you have clear advantages that millions of working households do not. Your records are already stored in SSA and IRS systems, your eligibility can be confirmed automatically, and the new scoring model elevates your status based on genuine financial vulnerability. Not politics, not public pressure, but real data showing how inflation is impacting older Americans. So what should you do next? First, make sure your address, bank account, and contact information are accurate in both your Social Security and IRS portals. Even a small mismatch can slow down processing. Second, check your portals regularly over the coming weeks. If you receive any alerts, identity checks, address confirmations, or payment preference notices, respond to them as soon as possible. Doing so keeps you in the fast lane and prevents unnecessary delays. Third, stay informed. More updates will be released as Treasury finalizes routing, IRS completes identity verification, and payment batches are scheduled. These steps are already in motion, and seniors in Tier 1 will be among the first to receive review and approval updates. Finally, I want to leave you with this message: you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. The challenges you face are real, and this program is a step toward easing some of that pressure. You've spent your life contributing to this country, and you deserve relief that recognizes your needs and respects your dignity. More updates are coming soon, and I'll be here every step of the way to help break them down clearly and calmly. Until then, take good care of yourself, stay safe, and stay hopeful, because help is finally on the way.